Hey there, it's Mark Meloon helping data scientists get the job of their dreams, and I want to talk with you today about probably the scariest part of the entire journey of getting hired as a data scientist, and that is technical whiteboard problem-solving interviews. And if you're not familiar with these, the way it goes is that you go up to a whiteboard, the interviewer asks you to solve a mini data science problem, and basically you work it out. And these are extended questions. These are not things that you can answer in a minute or two. These are things where, it may take 20 minutes, 30 minutes, even longer to work out. And they're basically mini oral exams where you are being judged, someone's watching you the whole time. You can ask questions and clarifications, but it's definitely scary. And yesterday I actually filmed a number of these mock interviews. I got a bunch of people, 5 candidates, people just like you looking for jobs. I got 4 senior data scientists, people who work as data scientists, and as part of their job they actually interview candidates, and they started asking the actual questions that they ask of real candidates when they're interviewing. And it was amazing. And not only did we we recorded 13 hours of footage, and so lots and lots of interviews. The candidates got great experience, but what was best of all is that at the end of each interview, we got the interviewer together with all of the candidates, and they'd give them lots and lots of valuable feedback about what they did right and what they did wrong and how they stand up against other candidates. And some of the common themes I want to share with you right now. And number one, probably the biggest one that came up in every single interview question was, how would you describe what you've done here, this technical stuff, to a non-specialist? And pretty much all the candidates have a really, really difficult time with this. They regularly throw out words like sensitivity and specificity and AUC and overfitting and so forth. But when it came time to actually trying to explain this to a manager, like a chief marketing officer or something like that, they had a lot of problems with that. So one of my tips for you as you're preparing for these types of interviews is start getting used to explaining what you do in non-technical terms. Another thing that came up, which I thought was really interesting, was the use of the actual whiteboard to actually write up your solutions. And it's interesting that if you are not careful with the notation that you use or the layout you use, you can get yourself really, really confused. And again, it's something so simple, you start working out a solution, but, and I saw this in a number of different interviews where someone wasn't careful about that initial notation. The whiteboard, there's no lines, there's no rules, it really isn't chaotic in location to write things, and it's very easy to, write something over here and over there, and pretty soon you're lost and you don't remember where this was. So get used to being structured when you write things, especially on a whiteboard. Another thing that came up that I notice an awful lot is that the interviewer will give you hints, will tell you things, and I saw a lot of the candidates going, yes, yes, doing a lot of agreeing, but I could tell looking at them that they weren't really listening. And even more that came out is that the interviewer would ask a question and the candidate would sometimes answer a completely different question. And this happened a lot, actually, and so this kind of indicates that I don't think they were doing it maliciously, it's just that they weren't really listening very carefully. So that is another important thing. And I know that you want to impress the interviewer with, oh yeah, I know that, but really take a minute, pause, and think about what they are saying, whether you really do know it or not, and taking their guidance. So those are some of the big takeaways. Come back a little bit later on. I'll share a little bit more of those takeaways with you. This whole thing, by the way, all the footage, all the tips and everything are going to be all released in an upcoming product I have called Secrets of Data Science Interviews. So by the time you watch this, that may already be available, but that's got everything and more. Like I say, 13 hours of footage, and detailed feedback from people that you will be interviewing in front of. So until now, keep studying, keep preparing for your data science job search, and I wish you best of luck. And subscribe to this channel for lots more tips to come.